Hello everyone, welcome to Amrita's monthly current affairs series, and we are finishing the June month governance with this third part. Okay, let us see. Starting with a very important scheme for this time, that is PM Swanidhi. Okay, so the question directly can come, PM Swanidhi scheme is for what? Okay, so PM Swanidhi scheme is to provide the affordable loans to the street vendors. So street vendors who have lost a lot of, or I should say, livelihood during this times of lockdown, right? Because even after the lockdown, during the current times, you can say, like when the unlock process is going on, very less customers they are getting, because everyone is now fearing the problem of the corona. They don't want to get exposed, and the street vendors are the first, I should say, casualty of it, right? So Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has launched the PM Pradhan Mantri Street Vendors Atma Nirbhar Nidhi, that is PM Swanidhi. Okay, street vendors, they made it some acronym. So to provide an affordable loans to the street vendors, so they will get a capital loans worth up to 10,000 rupees, which is repayable in monthly installments within a year. If they are good at if they also provide the money back to the government, timely money they provide, the government can increase the amount given to them also. So if you are a responsible person, like for example you have taken a genuine advantage of this loan, try to revive your situation and you pay back the government on time, also government will help you more. Earlier they have not been registered a lot, right? And that is the problem the government faced earlier. So now they have decided, okay, the letter of recommendations will work as well. So what are these letter of recommendations? Who will give them? So these will be given by the urban local bodies to these street vendors. Okay, so street vendors will get the letter of recommendation and then they can apply for this loans, those who don't have the identity cards. Next, we have Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan. So Rozgar means employment. So Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan. So this basically it is a livelihood opportunities to the rural India. And it is not all over the India. First of all, it is not all over the India. It is mainly first priority basically is the people who have come back to their homes. So basically to the to the place they come back. For example, states such as Bihar, UP, MP, Rajasthan, Odisha, Jharkhand. From the states such as Kerala, Punjab, Haryana, Maharashtra, those who have come back to these states, they will be getting advantage of these. So they will be getting 125 days of work. It is similar to Manrega, you can say. So 125 days of work across the 616 district in the 6th state. So within the 6th state, 116 district, and they will get the work for the 125 days. Okay, so providing them some sort of a support, some sort of livelihood opportunities. So what it will be, also the rural infrastructure scheme. So livelihood opportunity as well as the rural infrastructure scheme. So what these people will do, just like the people do a Manrega thing, they will also work for this rural infrastructure, these roads, ponds, common grounds, these things they will be involved in. Okay, so remember these 6 states. These will be involved in these 6 states. So next scheme is, so Pradhan Mantri Modi launches the Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan on 20th June to boost the employment and lively opportunity for migrant workers returning to the villages. Will build on the durable rural infrastructure and providing modern facility like internet in the villages. Next is, they have launched the second phase of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Now the focus is ODF we have achieved. We have announced that we have achieved the ODF. Now the focus is on the ODF plus and ODF plus plus. So we have already covered ODF plus and ODF plus plus. What are these things? What are these parameters? Very important for the SR exam. Please do cover it from the previous sessions. Okay. So the project will focus on sustainable aspects. Okay. So ODF plus, and there is one more component, ODFS. Yes. So it is focusing on the sustainability, so that the sustainability, both in terms of the awareness, both in terms of the infrastructure, all these things remain in place, right? Even in some of the cases, the situation has again, some of the people have again given back to the open defecation, that problem can again be solved. Okay, and now including the overarching emphasis on the management of the solid and the liquid waste as well, right? So it will be implemented from 2021 to 2025. 5 years they have taken it up under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. So focus is on the ODF plus status. Okay, and that will include the ODF plus solid and liquid waste management as well, right? So yes, a lot of merging now is being done, because now the sanitation, the core work we have done. Now we have to increase the parameters of sanitation. Now within these parameters, what will come? All these rural infrastructure, for example, the nalas, the septic tanks that have to be built. So you need to integrate with other schemes such as MG Narega, providing good water. Then you have to integrate with Jal Jeevan Mission. So a lot of interdisciplinary or I should say interministerial coordination is required. So all these schemes will work now in tandem, or a lot of overlap is there between the Swachh Bharat Rural Mission, then we have the Manrega, and then we have the Jal Jeevan Mission, right? So in the March they have launched this second phase of the Swachh Bharat Mission. Next, very important for this year, that is One Sun, One World, One Grid program. Prime Minister in his recent speech has reiterated this many times. One Sun, One World, One Grid program, right? So the idea is the once the sun never sets. And from the name itself, you can see this idea is for the renewable energy itself. Okay. So through One Sun, One World, and One Grid program, the India plans to build a global ecosystem of the interconnected renewable energy resources that are seamlessly shared for the future benefit. So Mr. Modi has, in fact, our Prime Minister has mooted this idea in the International Solar Alliance meeting earlier. Okay. So initiative had taken up under the Technical Assistance Program of the World Bank. So earlier Prime Minister has mooted it. Now the World Bank has also come up with the technical support on this. It includes the country. For example, India is in between. For example, if this is the map you make, India is somewhere over here. Then we have countries in the Far East. We have countries either Latin America, here in Africa. So India lies somewhere in between, right? So at least from there, the way they see the map. So India in the middle, the solar spectrum can be divided into two broad zones. The Far East, including the countries like Myanmar. And yes, they have to be somewhere within the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, fully or partially. So Far East country includes Myanmar, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia. Far West include Middle East, Africa region. Okay, then idea was given in the form by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy within India, right? So it was first time pitched by the Prime Minister during the first General Assembly of the International Solar Alliance. What is International Solar Alliance? We have already discussed it. Not very important for this year. Next is Bimal Jhulka Committee. So this committee has recently given its recommendation. Not very important. These recommendations are just the name of the committee itself is important. The committee actually was set up for the rationalization of the film media units and the as autonomous bodies that are associated with the film media unit. There are many autonomous bodies which are there. So basically the body talked about the rationalization of these units. Okay. So as overall to reduce the government burden, and secondly also provide some good governance setup for those. Not very important the recommendation either from prelims for the mains, but for the name itself you need to know the committee's name. Next is, this one is important, this committee's name, that is Atanu Chakrabarti panel or task force. This is the panel which has recommended for this national infrastructure pipeline, right? And we have discussed national infrastructure pipeline, very ambitious project of the government to put around 100,000 crore, I think. I'm not sure about the figure. I was forgetting the figure. But national infrastructure pipeline is the next big thing, I should say, or the overarching umbrella of the investment in the infrastructure. It is 100 lakh crore. Sorry, it's 100 lakh crore. Yes. Okay. You can see divided also in energy sector, road sector, irrigation, mobility in railways. We have discussed that in detail, national infrastructure pipeline. Next is Khudol. So Khudol, what is this? It is basically a crowd-funded initiative of a NGO, that is NGO situated in the Manipur. Okay, an Imphal-based NGO that is there, and this NGO works for the LGBT community. Okay, so it ensures the food supply and health services for the LGBT community, people living with HIV, daily wage earners, children, adolescents. Why it's in the news? Because the United Nations has recently praised this particular NGO for their work. Okay, right? Okay. Next, it is the pipeline in the making, or the policy. Sorry, it is the policy which is in the making, National Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy. So it will start. So what is announced, that they will start the formulation of this policy. Okay, so this policy has not been done. So recently, the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India and the Department of Science and Technology have jointly initiated the formulation of new Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy 2020. Right? So this is the new policy they are coming up with. Right? So what their basically idea is, the policy should be bottom up, the policy should be decentralized, then policy should be expert driven, should be evidence informed, and it should be, finally should be, and more importantly should be inclusive as well. So mission begin again. It's an initiative by the Maharashtra government to bid to revive the economic activities amid the lockdown. So the idea to unlock it, not very important for my exams. Maharashtra government obviously at odds with the central government, not in that sense, but not very important. Then starting the question series, the first question is, PK Mohanty committee recently in the news is related to A. Reforms in the governance and the corporate structure of the private sector banks, reforms in the armed forces, addressing the issues regarding the sustainability of the MSMEs, and digitalization of the payments. Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds, then we will see the answers. Right? So the answer is, the PK Mohanty committee was set up to, it is set up by RBI first of all. Remember, it is set up by RBI to revise the guidelines on the ownership corporate structure of the private banks. Okay, so it is focusing on the private banks, to ownership and the corporate structure of the private banks, right? So this is PK Mohanty committee. So reforms in governance and the corporate structure of the private banks in India. In the banking sector, you know, the committees are very, very important, and they remain important for a long time. Whether it be the Bimal Jalan committee that we have read, the RBI surplus to the government, or the your 2013 Nachiket More committee, right? Your Urjit Patel committee, all the committees are very, very important in the banking sector. In fact, till now we are reading the Narsimhan committee. I have taught you the Narsimhan committee in the May month, Narsimhan committee recommendations for the SARFAISI Act, right? So we have read about it. So all the recommendations in the banking sectors becomes very, very important, for means more importantly. Next is Jeevan Praman scheme. What is Jeevan Praman scheme? First, it is a biometric enabled digital life certificate for pensioners. This facility is restricted to the pensioners of the central government, department, and related agencies. So please see the answer question. Try to find the answer. So basically, Jeevan Praman scheme, from the name itself you can see Jeevan Praman. So life, Praman means certificate. Okay, so the first option is right, because it's a digital life certificate pensioner scheme, so that they don't have to go each and every time to prove that they are alive, right? Or to each and every agencies. So it causes a lot of hardship to the elderlies, and in that regard they have come up with the Jeevan Praman scheme. Okay, so they have to identify this Aadhaar authentication with their life certificate will be issued. So they have digitalized the whole process of the securing the life certificate. It is available not only to the pensioners of the state central government, but also to the state governments, or any other government organization can take the benefits of this facility. So remember, the central government, the state government, or any other government departments who want to take the benefit of this facility. So the first option is right, second option is wrong. Let us see the third question. Which of the following is the objective of the accelerating growth of the New India's Innovations Initiative? That is Agni initiative. Agni, again a very good, I should say, acronym they have made. So first is to provide a platform for the innovators to scale up their market ready products for creating the pathways for market access. Second, to fund the grassroots level innovations. C, to promote vocational skills. D, to harness the solar potential of the country and fund new solar technology, especially in the rural areas. I hope you have marked the answer. If you have not, then I'll say just take the options from here. I mean, um, take it as a learning opportunity, right? So Agni is basically an initiative of the government of India along with the Invest India. So this agency will not provide any funding so to the innovators, right? Agni means accelerating growth of India's innovation, right? Accelerating growth of new India's innovation. So it's a program under the launched by the principal scientific advisor to the government of India under the Prime Minister Science, Technology and Innovation Advisory Council, right? So it will what it will do? It will help to commercialize Indian technological innovations. We have actually so many things doing the same thing, isn't it? And that is why we feel the problem in the science and tech ecosystem in Indian country. A lot of fragmented efforts are being taken, right? One agency does this thing, second agency does this thing. They do the overlapping work, right? And at the end of the day, accountability does not lie on the one body, but it is directly coming from the PMO, and that is why it becomes important. Okay, so it's a technology. So the idea is to commercialize Indian technological innovation, to convene the finest technology, helping those who have the technology to deliver it, and those who need the technology provide them. It is again, remember, not a funding agency, does not provide the direct financial support to the innovators. It is basically the collaboration work, it is basically the support work, it is basically the hand holding work. Okay, right. Next is question. So what's the answer? To promote the platform for the innovators to scale up their market ready product by creating pathways for the market access. Let us see the next question. Government of India recently launched Artis portal. ARTIS. Artis portal. What is this for? File application for the protection against the trade distorting activities, to help MSME to sell their products on the e-commerce platform, nurture entrepreneurship among the women in the rural areas, enable central government employees to access their service related information. Artis. Okay, so what is this basically? Artis is basically launched by the DGTR, that is Director General of the Trade Remedies. Okay, from the name itself, Director General of the Trade Remedies. So it is basically a system for filing the anti-dumping duties for to enhance the transparency, efficiency, and provide expedited relief those domestic producers are for the different trade remedies such as anti-dumping duty, safeguard duty, countervailing duty. What is the difference between these three duties? Please prepare on your own end. Okay, what's the difference between anti-dumping duty versus the safeguard duty versus the countervailing duty? Okay, so basically the portal will help you to get through it. Okay, so this is by the Director General of the Trade Remedies. So answer is the file application for the protection against the trade distorting activities. The last question is with respect to the following graded response action plan, sometimes in news, correct the following statement. It is an action plan to reduce the air pollution. It covers the hinterland states from Rajasthan to Bihar. EPCA, that is Environmental Pollution Control Authority, is the implementing agency of the plan. What is the right answer? Okay, so let us see the answer. So basically your graded response action plan, from the name itself, graded response action plan. So response has to be graded. That means depending upon the condition of the air pollution, first of all it is related to the air pollution, then depending upon the grade of the air pollution, the response will be there. For example, in the emergency situation, they will stop the construction, ban the entry of the trucks. If it is moderately poor, then stop the garbage burning, impose heavy fines, like this. So depending upon the situation, they will do it. Okay, we have discussed about EPCA in detail, that how Supreme Court, it was earlier there in 1990s, then again it is revived in 2016 on the orders of the Supreme Court, and the EPCA will be taking up this option. This option will be taken up in Delhi NCR region, and that is where the major problem of the air pollution is, isn't it? In the Delhi NCR region. Okay, right. So Answer is it's an action plan to reduce the air pollution. And then third, EPCA is the implementing agency. So with this, we finish our session. Let us quickly revise what we have done. We started with the discussion on the PM Swanidhi, important scheme for the exam this year. So basically, affordable loans to the street vendors without collateral. They will be provided the loans with, and the amount can be increased depending upon whether they are responsibly they are repaying their loans or not. Then PM Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan, 6 states they are coming up with: UP, Bihar, MP, Rajasthan, Odisha and Jharkhand. 125 days of work they will be provided with in 116 district, which includes the 27 aspirational districts as well. Then we have launched the second phase of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Next initiative is One Sun, One Word, One Grid program. Okay. So the vision behind it, sun never sets, and the idea is floated by the Prime Minister and now implemented by the MNRE with the technical support from the World Bank. Then we read about BM Jhulka Committee for the rationalization of the film media units and autonomous bodies. Then we have Kodol, that's a crowdfunding initiative, Imphal-based NGO for the LGBT community. Then we have read about National Science, Technology and Innovation Policy, STPI 2020. Okay, which will be formed, not now, it's been done. Then we discussed the 5 questions. First was related to PAK Mohanty committee, which will take up the review of the private sector banks, and the report he will submit in September 2020. Okay, at the end of September 2020. Then we have Jeevan Praman scheme for the digital certificate, life certificate for the pensioners. Then we have the Agni initiative to provide platform for the innovators to scale up their market product. Okay. Then we have 2 more questions. The Government of India launched Artis portal to file application for the protection against the trade distorting activities. And lastly, the grid response action plan, which is for Delhi NCR by EPCA and air pollution. Okay. So with this, we finish our governance of the June month, and then we'll come up with the July month session 1. And again, I'll reiterate again. Please focus on the CSAT portion of your preparation as well. Okay. So see you in the next class, everyone. Bye bye for now. Thank you.